Hi all and welcome to this episode of Sketchbook Stories, and today I want to show you inside this little travel sketchbook that I took away with me recently when I visited Spain. Now this sketchbook has a history in itself. It was one that I bought when I was in Paris on a retreat meeting some artist friends, and I've had it about a year before I decided that it was time to open the pages and get sketching. So let's have a look at side, and I just want to show you page 1. Now this sketchbook is particularly convenient for travel sketching because, as you can see, it is quite thin and narrow. It's postcard sized, it's A5. It's a Clairefontaine sketchbook with white paper, 140 GSM. So it's actually quite a nice sketchbook that will hold different mediums: pencil, pen, watercolour, the sorts of things that I will take with me when I go travelling. And what I actually took with me was this little pouch, and this is my travel sketchbook pouch, and this was all I took for a few days away. Various pens and pencils, nothing too complicated, but the most important things that I take with me are always my pencil with the rubber on the end and the sketchbook. And what I packed with me, I prepared this little travel watercolour set that I bought off Etsy, and I filled it with a mixture of some basic colours in gouache and watercolour paint, and I popped one single paintbrush in there. And so for this little sketch, I was sitting on a balcony, was at a friend's house. I was looking out from the balcony onto the view of just some trees and the sky that I could see from the balcony. It was just a really simple view of Spain. And so I began by just using the pencil to mark out very sketchily the rough areas of where the light and dark tonal areas of the landscape were. So we've got the tree areas, there's a little bit of grassy land here, a bit of scrub. It was just a sort of little rough landscape. It wasn't anything particularly special or beautiful or famous. It was just a lovely little landscape view that I could see from just where I happened to be sat. So I didn't make a special trip to go sketching. This wasn't an art holiday, an art retreat. It was just, I was sat on a balcony one afternoon, I had 10 minutes, I had this pouch of stuff with me, and I brought this out. So this only took me about 10 minutes, let's say. So I used my pencil to do the basic underlying sketching, and then using this, and a little pot of water, so I just had a little cup of water that I grabbed from the kitchen. I mixed up a few basic colours. I've got some dark greens, I've got this wonderful light green here that I like using, and just started to fill in the different areas, play with a little bit of colour. I only had 2 blues with me, this ultramarine gouache and this sort of lighter cerulean blue, which is a watercolour, and just put a really light wash of it on just to give the impression of colour. So it was a quick sketch. It was done in a pocket of time whilst I was sat on a balcony just looking at whatever view happened to be there. I didn't move around, select, set up an easel. I literally sat on a table and drew what I could see. And that's something that I really want to stress to you is going to be so helpful for you building up a daily or routine sketching habit, or just sketching when you think you don't have time. Because yes, we may not have time, but there is always some sort of time. Instead of scrolling on a phone, looking through Instagram, Facebook, checking messages, emails, just take 5 minutes of that time. Just 5 minutes, grab a small sketchbook, and the small sketchbook is key because it's very doable, it's very completable in 5 minutes, and the smallest basic materials. These are all the colours I had. I just had a small selection of colours, and I didn't even use all of them, to just do a little impression. And this will give me a much better feel of the area and the view, and it will take me right back to that moment that I was sat there just looking out. I was sitting with a little glass of wine as well. It was very, very civilised, and did my little sketch. So see if you can find, the basic, most minimal, limited materials to do some sketching, and that can simply be a pencil. You don't need a fancy watercolour palette, and I wouldn't even say this is fancy. It wasn't that expensive, and it's just a way of me squeezing out a little bit of a few colours to take with me, because I was going on an airplane with a carry-on case only, so I didn't have the ability to take more than just a very small pouch of materials. and just one small sketchbook. And I'll give you a quick flick of the rest of the sketchbook because I continued to use watercolour pencil, and I think I had one coloured pencil and then watercolour just to sketch other views when I was also out in Spain. So you can just see quick 10-minute sketches done at various points within the day. And sometimes I took photos to work from as a reference later on, so that's just a pencil. So that's my little coloured travel sketchbook, and that just shows you this page here and the story behind this. I hope you find this useful, and I can't wait to see what you guys get up to when you're sketching out on location and you've got your little travel pack, your pencil, your mini watercolours, or just a few pencils and a few materials that you need. Have fun, I will speak to you soon, and take care.